When we discuss marketing as reverse engineering, we're going to take a look at Mona Van's Eat Clean. We all know that she's a dead woman walking with no education, nothing to offer, who really does nothing all day but look at herself in the mirror and try on clothes so she looks hot. While she lies about everything that she's participating in, while everyone in this high elite network tries to make you feel less than because they have money and you are middle class. However, you're the target of the middle class for her because you have the money to spend on the nonsense, and you have a level of clout of a word of mouth system that can deliver to audiences to create a interest as part of the interest graph. So the interest graph isn't really an interest graph, it's a forced experience of heavy weighted Hollywood that has now bled into influencer land. So let's take a look at Gary Vaynerchuk and the way he produced his content with the Eat Clean nonsense of this whore named Mona Van. It started off with a publicity stunt of them being in the same apartment, of a whitewashed big ass apartment where she's working off wellness ideas to look like a fucking fool while she's consistently trying to uplift you as if she's helping you. But the reality is, and the disconnect in your mind, she's literally just showing off how much money she has. In this process, she's literally 30 years old. However, she's lying about who she is. Not to mention, she's working off what she thinks is an elite culture, which is the problem with Persia, is that they're money hungry and all they care about is gold. So this is her sign that she's willing to do anything to get what she wants, which is very hard for you as a middle-class person to understand. You would be dying on the street with blood coming out of your eyeballs and your chest, and she would take a piss on you, laugh at you, and then say, "Are you okay?" if Gary Vaynerchuk walked up. I don't know what happened. I just came upon her and there was piss on her and she was bleeding out her eyeballs. I'm very scared for her. That's the Mona Van that you don't see because it's all a cover up because she wants to get you to worship her. This is very different than someone who's actually a teacher of education, because being a teacher, as anyone who's a teacher out there knows, when your students come to class, they really don't want to be in class. And so a really good teacher will put your ass in line and say, you need to study or you're going to get an F. A good teacher takes a look at their students and enjoys the conversation of what they're actually teaching to bring interest to students, because Hollywood is telling you that hair, makeup, and clothing is more important than education. However, I assure you that education is more important than anything these Eat Clean fucks are up to. So moving on to the conversation through Eat Clean, this is the point where Gary V gets invited to all these elaborate parties out of Hollywood, red carpet events, Netflix, etc., while Mona Van's showing off her boobs, her body, and her bikini tops at places like the White Party, while they go on vacation in Bodrum, and they do all these romantic, elegant behaviors to make themselves look so happy while he's fucking you over with the 12 and a half emotional ingredients. The 12 and a half emotional ingredients is not the foundation of a business. Sorry. You go bankrupt if you work off the 12 and a half emotional ingredients. That's the scam of the swamp. That's how they get you to submit to becoming a robot, because you all just sit around and talk about Eat Clean, smile to each other's face, and then no one has a real conversation about anything. Moving forward, we all saw her attend the V conference where she literally was a psychopath, but nobody would recognize it because Gary Vaynerchuk kissed her on the mouth, held her hand, and paraded her around like she was a fucking princess. Still, you still stood by that shit. You didn't speak out against it. You actually turned against me and violated me and violently abused me. Then you told me that one day she'll meet her maker. However, during this whole entire process, all she's doing is standing there. But because she's a network with a bunch of sick-ass people who are literally just showing off how much money they have, you now get enlightened the fact that that's the way you're going to look successful. Meanwhile, Gary's saying, don't worry about the the way things look and how much money and what you're buying and all this other nonsense bullshit. Yet he's sitting on a jet, sitting on a yacht, and then bragging to everybody's fucking face that he's engaged to a Persian by dropping her name, my fiance. Literally every step of the way, he's getting her jobs, he's getting her brand deals, he's pushing her for success. Everyone's agreeing to her behavior, which means that there's no one stopping her. There's nobody stopping her. She's literally a diabolical biatch who's trying to destroy American culture and spread filth of nasty while covering it up with the words eat clean. She then starts hosting these nasty, horrific parties where she's talking about herself, and then lying to you as if she's a doctor, where she then gets on podcasts where all she does is talk about nonsense, garbage, and herself, never once having opened a book. Never once having any form of education, because anybody who knows about education knows that you don't speak that way. You literally have to bore your fucking guests at the dinner table to talk nutrition because it's not exactly the most interesting conversation. However, she's hired a chef, she hired a maid, she hired an organized crime worker to do all the evil beating behind the scenes. And as long as Gary Vee's standing there behind her going, you're so great, you're so wonderful, the both of them are moving their businesses forward in their minds. So it's reverse engineering out to try to get this Eat Clean product line going. She tries the microwave dinner, which I will assure you that is not Eat Clean. So everything's a box setting of just enough to get you interested in what she's talking about, of an image and a brand and a look on her face and a smile. A smile that you, for some reason, cannot stop the experience of an entrance of energy from a Persian bitch, because that is their job in the world, is to violently abuse other people so that they can feel wealthy in whatever form they need to feel like they can continue to abuse all of you. So they invite people like Hannah Bronfman, also involved. Just to let you know, all of this is on the backs of the clandestine operation of the United States government. The Democrat liberal swamp. This is what they think that freedom is. This is what they think liberty is. This is what they think democracy is at stake. While they violate you with your inability to have your own emotions, while beginning to make cartoons about how your children are supposed to feel in certain situations. Meanwhile, still, because she's such a psychopath, promoting her product line of Eat Clean, while she invites the elite of the elite over so that they all start saying Eat Clean. So then you lowlifes, instead of eating clean, you just say Eat Clean, and you think it's the ingredients in your food, and then you eat like a fucking pig and turn into a fat ass like Mona Van. While Gary Vee's sitting next to her, smiling on his little fucking face, and then acting like a fucking hero when he literally is part of the fucking clandestine operation, because that ain't American. Not sure what part of that do you not understand of what is at risk at this point? When your fucking vice president literally does fucking nothing and talks about emotions of joy and happiness, there's your fucking sign. Where all these motherfucking influencers are literally disrespecting you to your fucking faces. They are disrespecting your intelligence. They are disrespecting your fucking intelligence. They're disrespecting you, and they're all chasing the carrot if you're interested in that line of work. You do understand they're recreating themselves in the form of their audience, in the form of thousands and thousands, to recreate humanity as slavery to the ideas of what Reese Witherspoon and the awkwardness of Drew Barrymore with the weird-ass behavior of Miss Rachel to send knives into your children's bodies. While you sit there and say, I don't know, this is so great. Mama. Meanwhile, all of this Eat Clean shit is all a projection of Gary Vee sitting on his podcast saying, I think that the future of the food is Eat Clean. All strategic planning of tactics to not live a normal life in America, to where we're all enslaved by the ideas of the most moronic, uneducated, elitist group out of New York City and LA, while Mona Van wears another short skirt and has her vag nuggets hanging out the bottom, while Gary Vee smiles and holds her hands and says, wow, you're so beautiful. Life with you is beautiful. You make me deeply, deeply happy. Wow, that's really a fucking grown up. Then he tells you to grow up. Then he tells you to feel joy and happiness. While all you old asses say, what do you mean? She's so fucking friendly. No, bitch. She's a fucking Iranian. She's a fucking Persian terrorist bitch.